They fire the rifles into the air. Under no circumstances will any routine ever have you do that. Shinra's different. Shinra's out here wilding. You will never see that, ever.
This is Michael Higham, freelance writer and a former editor at GameSpot. He not only reviewed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for IGN, but he is also an ROTC drill team alumni from the Samuel F.B. Morse High School. Today he's joining us to break down and recreate Final Fantasy VII's Junon parade drills. If you enjoyed this kind of content, be sure to check out our previous episodes and subscribe for more experts breaking down your favourite games coming very soon. Without further ado, it's over to Michael.
Now, begin!
So Shinra's military apparently they have a drill team, which is pretty wild for a private company, one, to have a military, but that's the story of Final Fantasy VII. When I first played this, I was kind of blown away at the fact that they incorporated drill team movements with this level of detail because it does look and feel so realistic to the real thing. The style of drill that they're doing is a lot closer to Japanese style drill teams. See like the JSDF, the Japanese Self-Defense Force, they have an annual ceremony where they have cadets and drill teams perform, and it's actually very similar. They modeled it, Square Enix modeled this after those Japanese drill teams. Which makes sense, Square Enix and Final Fantasy, these are Japanese companies and Japanese games, but it still shares the root in American military style drill. For them, they do a lot of 45-degree angles when they go to right shoulder, when they do spins and they stop the rifle, really sharp movements. You can do all kinds of wild flips and tosses, whatever, but if you can't do it right, then you shouldn't do it at all. Because it's all about precision, especially when you have teams of 12 like we did in our program, or in this case, as you'll see later, teams of 20 plus. Not everyone is able to all do that in sync, because that's one of the things that is most important when it comes to this style of drill.
How would you rate Tifa and Aerith's first time ever performing this routine on the spot?
Yo, this is crazy. Learning something like this would take us months, especially if we went into our first year in the program. We all have to learn the basics, the core moves first. In the story of this game, Cloud goes to Aerith and Tifa and says, "Hey, just follow what I do." And they're like, "Okay, we'll follow you." And they know exactly what to do without even looking at him. So the precision, the knowledge, the execution is off the charts, man. Tifa and Aerith know exactly what they're doing. But they were probably watching YouTube videos before this, one of these days we're going to dress up as Shinra soldiers and we're going to have to do this, so we might as well learn it. It's crazy. This is S tier for sure. So, as a treat, I am actually going to perform the drill team sequence that you see in the tutorial with Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, using a stock rifle that's not the real thing, it's just a wooden stock. But yeah, I was able to learn this on the fly and see how I do.
Begin! Step it up! Impressive. Well done.
The captain and his team have trained long and hard, determined to win the presidential commendation for everyone back home in Midgar.
So they're all marching at right shoulder. Everyone should always be marching at right shoulder. So you hold the rifle on your shoulder like that. That's normal stuff. Cool thing here about Cloud, he stumbles into being the commander of this whole team, and for some reason he knows their exact routine. Cloud is the commander and he's holding a saber. He's almost kind of like a conductor. That's how we did it as well, where our commander, who was doing the call-outs, kind of leading the team, he was holding the saber and wouldn't really necessarily have to do anything with it. I mean, they could do spins or whatever, or fancy movements with the saber itself, but there isn't really much to do when you have a saber. So it's kind of a symbolic thing that the commander holds the saber. So it's a really nice detail here.
Formation change.
This isn't on the voice actor, so that's not on you, Cody. But Cloud's command voice is so whack. Different programs, different branches, like Army, Marines, Navy, they all have different command voices, and that's how you call out from sequence to sequence, like marching forward, or if you need to do a formation change, or like move from phase to phase of your routine. The commander uses their command voice to signify what's next. Maybe that's just how Shinra does things in their military, but Cloud's command voice is very weak here. That fool, like, maybe that's why he got out of Shinra and Soldier. He couldn't hang with them. He needs to work on his command voice. When you have core basic skills, it's all about how you put it together. And one of the ways you can vary things and mix things up is having that visual ripple effect. That's kind of like a wave almost. And they do that here in this formation, in this routine. Back in our day, we would do the same thing too, what we call digs, where we like kneel on the ground and bang the rifle on the floor. Not only do you create like a beat or a cadence, but you when you do it staggered in a staggered formation, this kind of like creates that ripple effect. You get that cool, like everyone kind of goes down in sequence and gets back up in sequence. So that's the ways in which you can create a visual effect for the drill instructors to be like, oh wow, they're getting creative, they're doing something cool, unique and different. So they do that here. So they do half spins here, and it's kind of a little weak, but I will say that they are pretty sharp when they do full spins, and when they whip around the other way. And yeah, their cadence is on point too, so that's pretty wild to see. Now the one thing here, Jean-Luc, you mentioned this too, is at the end of it, they fire the rifles into the air. Under no circumstances will any routine ever have you do that. No team under any circumstances should be firing their rifle in a drill team routine. All the rifles that we used in our programs were decommissioned Springfields, so they wouldn't be able to shoot anyway, even if you put in blanks. We also had a rifle team in high school, so you learn how to do shooting in the range, like trigger discipline, like aiming discipline, breathing control, all those sorts of things. And one of the things they teach you straight up before you can even step into the range or handle an actual firearm is that you need to know how to handle it. And it's, never put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to shoot, and never point your rifle at something you're not intended to be a target. So those are like two core rules that anyone who's ever handled a gun, if you've ever been to a shooting range, you have to know those things. Like, they test you on that, literally. So the fact that they fire, even if they're just blanks, the fact that they fire them in formation, Shinra's different. Shinra's out here wilding. You will never see that ever in any, unless there's like a 21 gun salute for a ceremony. You will never see that happen in any drill scenario.
And march.
Practice makes perfect.
I like how the camera pops up from a bird's eye view to see what they're doing with formation. I think that's one of the things that a lot of teams do, like I said, is create visual effects with their formation. So even if you can't see it from the top up, even on the ground level, you can see how they're maintaining what's called dress or alignment. The more you're able to switch formations like they're doing here, while maintaining that alignment, shows like a level of precision and discipline that is impressive in its own way, because you have to use your peripheral vision. It's also kind of like a vibes thing. After a lot of practice, you kind of know where you're supposed to go, what your distance is relative to the rest of your, let's say your party members, your squad mates, your teammates. So the fact that they're able to pull that off is, it's pretty impressive. What's wild at the end is they do what we call double ups. So you just like, you toss it, it's supposed to spin twice and it comes down, but I don't know where the rifles go. They just disappear into the air. So they got magic and stuff in the world of Final Fantasy. So I don't know what they're doing there, but that is, I was wondering where the rifles went. So they're going to do something where the commander walks through kind of like a gauntlet in a way. Creates a nice visual effect. It's really cool. And it creates a ripple effect. So these are pretty difficult to pull off because you have to keep cadence with and you have to maintain that ripple effect without whipping the commander in their face with your rifle. It's really challenging with timing and also making sure you can't maintain that wave effect as the commander walks through. But it is really cool if you can pull it off. Okay, so here at the end, when they keep spinning it with their left hand, that's actually really hard to do. So that's like super impressive that they can. I mean, if they were real people, of course, then you just have to. Square Enix just has to animate this, or just has to animate it. Maintaining that level of like spinning it, especially in cadence with everyone else, is damn near impossible. Of course, on an individual level, you can do that. But I think one of the things you notice too is keeping the rifle, not only being able to keep spinning it with one hand, but also, like I said, these rifles are heavy. So it's, you get tired real quick, but also the axis in which it's spinning kind of starts to drift, and then you could like whack yourself in the face if you can't maintain like the axis in which it's spinning on. So that's actually really difficult to do. I would not recommend incorporating that into your routine, but if you can, props to you. I think that's all I got, but thanks for watching. It's pretty wild that I was able to put this knowledge to use in some capacity 18-something years later after doing this. Never thought I'd see one of my favorite game series incorporate something I did and dedicated so much time to in high school. But yeah, it's been really dope to share this with y'all. And also, if you want to check it out, I reviewed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on IGN, but you also should check out Tam's review on GameSpot as well. Peace.